When you watch the tour pros on TV hit their irons, it almost looks effortless. Shot after shot, ball then turf interaction every single time. Well, there's a reason why tour players do this so well, a key move that amateurs seem to overlook, and that's what I'm going to be diving into in today's video. I'm going to be showing you a very simple drill that anyone can do to help them get that ball then turf interaction, strike their irons pure, the secret drill that you can do to help you get this action way more often. Now, before we look into how we actually improve the ball striking, there's something that we need to understand that's so important in the game of golf, and that is the low point. Now, the golf swing works on a big circle, and at the bottom of the circle is what we call the low point, the lowest part of that swing circle. And to get that ball and turf interaction, we want to be able to get this low point past the golf ball. Too many amateur golfers make the mistake of believing that the low point, the bottom of their swing, is at the golf ball, when it's not. It should be after the golf ball. Roughly, I'm going to give you a rough estimate of around 3 to 4 degrees past the golf ball to help you get that ball striking first on that descending angle of attack and then compressing into the ground afterwards. Now, there's something called the swing center as well, and this is the center of your chest being the sternum. So we've got the swing circle, the swing arc working back and forth. We've got the lowest part of that circle, but we've also got the swing center as well. Now, what amateur golfers will do in their swings is they will, at any point whatsoever, whether it's on the backswing or downswing, they'll have their sternum usually staying behind the golf ball. Now, the problem with this is that when we try and keep the sternum behind the golf ball, it's going to push. Imagine that big circle being formed back and forth. It's going to push this circle further away. So that low point is going to be somewhere roughly 3 to 4 inches behind the golf ball. So it's going to cause those fat shots. And then just before impact, we try and get ourselves forward by shifting that sternum forward. So they'll get to the top and almost move off the golf ball, try and get back in time, but to be able to time that perfectly and get that low point being 3 to 4 inches past the golf ball every time is going to be very difficult to do. We want to rely on something like the pros do, where they're able to get this great amount of turn to be able to control where that swing center stays, and then we want to allow for that little bit of a shift forward to get that low point being past the golf ball. But the question is, how do we do that? Because if we exaggerate things too much, there is a tendency that golfers will do where they'll get a little bit too steep onto the golf ball and do this, and last minute they'll try and jump out of it to avoid hitting the ball too much on the downward motion. But what the pros are able to do so well is be able to form a shallow downswing where the club falls almost underneath the plane a little bit more, as opposed to getting over, but also getting that sternum ahead of the golf ball to be able to compress the golf ball. We don't want to get too steep onto the golf ball, otherwise it's going to lead to too many faults. So what the pros do exceptionally well is they're able to shallow that downswing, control where that golf club is traveling, but also get the sternum in the correct position at the moment of impact. And that's what we're going to be showing you now. How can we actually get you into that point that we see the pros do every single time? Now, before I jump into the secret drill, and this is one of your first videos of mine, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Harry, a golf teach professional specializing in helping you improve your golf game. So if you do enjoy this video and take these tips and drills on board, make sure you comment down below. It is free to do. Comment down below the tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover next. Now, the alignment stick placed in the middle of my stance here represents the swing center. So when I address the golf ball here, you can clearly see that that alignment stick is on the same line if I was to draw a line directly from my sternum going towards the ground. So that line there represents where my swing center is, so my sternum. This alignment stick here in the swing plate represents my swing path. Now, remember what I mentioned before, the pros do exceptionally well on the downswing, getting this club to drop beautifully underneath, shallow downswing, but also then get that compression. The tendency we'll see, a cheap way of doing this drill, is getting up to the top of the swing and pushing that swing center forward, so ahead of the stick here, but then allowing the club to go too far over plane. And if you do that in this, you're going to be hitting the stick here. So just before you start using the club and doing this, it's really important you get the body working correctly. So I'm going to take my 8-iron away, and I'm going to take my hands and place them either side of my thighs like this here, just ensuring again that the alignment stick placed on the ground is directly in line with my swing center. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to allow my right hand to move up towards my right hip as my left hand moves down towards my left knee. So when I do this here, it allows me to create this what we call rotation all the way up into the top of the swing, as opposed to shifting away. So that already stops you from shifting this swing center too far away from the middle. So just practice this movement a couple of times, and then we can begin to add the downswing move. So to begin that downswing, I want you to do two things. I want you to feel you're squatting down a little bit, so you're pressing into the ground, and you're shifting ever so slightly forward. So we've got that squat first and then push forward. And you can see here when I'm getting this squat, that's initiating that swing sequence to start from the lower body, which is what we want, what the tour players do. That's great for power and consistency. But then getting this shift ever so slightly forward afterwards is going to get that swing center, the sternum, set in position for you then to unwind and rotate and hit the golf ball. So we're going to be up to the top, press down, shift a touch, and then we're going to rotate back. So imagine this movement here as the reverse of what we did in the backswing. So left hand now goes to the left hip as my right hand goes down to my right knee. And that allows me now to then extend upwards into the golf ball and have the sternum 3 to 4 inches ahead of the golf ball. So rehearse this all in one motion just before you take the club. Then taking a club, practicing this in stages. I'm just going to move the ball ever so slightly out the way just so I can practice this. So up to the top of my swing, squatting down, pushing forward, allowing that extension upwards and turn upwards. And now I'm just going to make sure I avoid that stick here. So to avoid that stick, I'm just ensuring that my hands are staying down or getting low as quickly as they can in that swing on the way through it. As soon as they stay out and away, it's going to hit that stick again. So rehearsing this all in one motion. And that's where we get that powerful strike coming in. So I'm going to hit one now for you, and let's take a look and see what the results show. I didn't quite get the shift forward, I must admit, but it was a good shot. Now this video has been brought to you today by GX Golf, who provide high quality golf clubs at a fraction of the price in comparison to their competitors on the market. Using my discount code below, Harry10, you can get yourself a great discount, 10% off. I'd highly recommend you checking them out when you're in the market for new golf gloves. So just to recap, we've spoken a lot about how the low point works in the golf swing. We've also spoken about how the sternum, the swing center works in the golf swing. The low point could roughly do with being 3 to 4 inches past the golf ball, and the swing center is the center of your golf swing. So when you're swinging back and forth, the impact, ideally we'd like to see the swing center to be a little bit more ahead of the golf ball to help you get that low point 3 to 4 inches past the golf ball. We've also explained what separates the pros from the amateurs. They are able to get that low point 3 to 4 inches past the golf ball to get that strike, but also deliver the club on the beautiful shallow plane into the golf ball. That's why the alignment sticks here are excellent for this drill. This one here to stop you from getting too far over the top and to get the path working in your favor to hit the golf ball. God, I need to finish on a pretty good one now, don't I? Get that strike right, and this pitching wedge should get me there. That was nice. It's going to draw a little bit, I think. Oh no. Ooh, a little bit short. It was on line though, so I'll take that on this tricky par 3. However, it is slightly different for the driver. As with the driver, we want to get that ascending motion into the golf ball. So what changes? Comment down below if you'd like to see a video on that topic. In the meantime, if you're looking for more distance, I'd recommend checking out this video over here where I helped my student gain an extra 25 yards with his 8-iron in just 1 hour. So recommend you checking that out. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, that helps me grow the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.